Welcome to another live episode of the Eric Crocker Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, and we're talking about all things San Francisco 49ers today, winners and losers from the Denver Broncos 49ers game. Comeback win for the 49ers. Don't know how big of a deal it is to have a comeback victory, but there are a lot of little takeaways. Some guys that made the most out of their opportunities. I can't wait to discuss all that. And I did miss last week. A lot of traveling back and forth, different things. Uh, but I was at the 49ers Raiders game, so I might touch on that as well. Hope everybody's doing good this morning. Hope everybody's feeling great, feeling blessed. And make sure that you guys
Like and subscribe this
it's been a while. It's been a while. And now we are officially starting. I'm settled in. All right. I'm settled in Stockton, California, full time. It feels good to be back home. Sold my gym and house out in Arkansas. So I'm back here full time, feeling great, and get to focus on podcasting, man, for the first time in a while. Last time, yeah, for the first time in a while. So I'm really, really, really excited about that. But hope everybody's doing well this morning. I see the flames coming in. Big Dez, let's go, let's go. Here we go. Khalil Young. Yes, yes, yes. 49er Reefer, let's go. All right. And the chat was going live before I even click start. So that's always a good thing. People excited to talk about 49 football, meaningful football. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I hate the offseason stuff. I hate having to try to create storylines. I hate trying to make something out of nothing. What I do love doing is just kind of like talking about football, what I'm seeing, breaking things down. And that's what I'm excited about. And I hope that's why y'all come to this show, man, because we're not finna try to do nothing too clickbaity or anything like that. Sometimes you got to do like a little clickbaity title. But as far as the takes go, y'all know the takes are never clickbaity when it comes to this show. So appreciate everybody coming in here. We got Khalil Young. He says, Croc, word around campfire, you was kicking it with Charles Woodson. I was kicking it with Charles Woodson. Listen, y'all, been a diehard 49er fan since I was yay high. My brother, he's a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. We had a poster of Charles Woodson on our room door in a Raider uniform. Like, we love Woodson. And the fact that I was able to be on stage with Woodson, he's talking to me, calling me by my name. We shared cake together. And pause. You know how at weddings it's like you dig in and you eat the cake, and then the person digs in. Bro, we was digging in and eating the cake together, bro. Like, pause, bro. Like, that's crazy. So that was dope, man, to just be on stage with Charles Woodson, an idol of mine for sure. And it's dope to see what he's doing with his whiskey. So make sure y'all check out everything that they got together, man. But yeah, that was dope, man. I was on cloud nine on stage, and that was my first time too recording in front of like a live audience. Obviously, we do this, and we'll have a bunch of people in here. I'd expect a few, 300-400 people live watching at one time, but it's just me in this house by myself, and I'm staring at y'all in the camera, or y'all staring at me, but I don't actually see y'all. Doing that show at the Mandalay Bay Hotel, bro, we are live. I was live in front of Raider fans on stage with Charles Woodson. So that was something way different than I've ever experienced. A little nervous at first, because you got to be able to really, you got to know your stuff. Like, when do I jump in? When do I not jump in? Like that dynamic. That's one thing about podcasting. I think a lot of people kind of overlook the dynamic and relationship between like a host and a guest. And it was just a different dynamic. Even Peacock and I, Brian Peacock, again, Locked on 49ers, come at you 5 days a week. Brian Peacock and I, we usually, it took a while for us to really understand how to play off of each other. Now I'll cut them off. I don't care. All right. But enough of that, man. We're almost 5 minutes in and we haven't talked about the game. So first, I would definitely want to give my thoughts on the 49ers Raiders game. Okay, because again, y'all didn't hear my thoughts. I was on Locked On. I was moving, back and forth, cross country, driving, all that stuff. To me, that was one of those games where I was very disappointed because of how sloppy the 49ers were. Like, that was my biggest takeaway. Like, this is the sloppiest brand of football that I've ever seen the 49ers play. Now, one thing that you're going to get when you are playing with a majority of backups, all right, a majority of backups. I don't know how many starters played in that Raiders game. Very few, if any at all. Isaiah Oliver, But then, hey, we're going to talk about him. I don't know if he's going to be a starter. But for the most part, it's all reserved. So there's going to be a drop off in the, just execution of plays. Like that's why guys are backups. In the NFL, because I see this guy and he's like, Trey Lance made this nice throw. It was a tight window throw. And the guy's like, well, a better defensive back breaks that up. Well, why? The tight coverage is tight coverage. The margin between or the space between like a starter and a backup in the NFL is not an ability issue. It's not typically it's not. It's not an ability issue. Like it's not from a talent standpoint. It's not oh man, like these guys are just way more talented than these guys. It's typically just a consistency difference. That's usually what the difference is at that level. Like when I was in the NFL, it wasn't like, oh, Croc can't cover. I could cover. That was not the issue. You got to battle roster politics. What is your role going to be, right? Like Croc wasn't good at special teams. Like that was my issue. It wasn't just being able to cover. So with a lot of these guys, the talent, that gap isn't big. It's the consistency. That's what makes the difference. That's the gap. Now, obviously, every team has special players. When I was on the Jets, like it was very clear. Antonio Cromartie is a special player, a special talent, right? 6'3", 220 pounds, runs the way he does. Like he's a freak. He's different. But most guys are, can you play well within your role? And the guys that don't make it, like myself, you don't play well within your role, and there's a lack of consistency with that, but not from the standpoint of guys that just can't play. So when I watched that game and there's not a lot of starters out there, the things I was looking for or I noticed were the things like that you could control. And there were, I want to say Sam Darnold, his first drive, I believe it was. I want to say his first couple of plays, Sam Darnold, again, this is the Raiders game. There was a illegal formation, like two of them on the same drive down there, back-to-back plays. Like that's ugly. A lot of times that falls on coaching. All right. There were several holding calls on special teams. The special teams has been atrocious. All right. The special teams has been atrocious. I was very upset by that. There were several holding calls. I mean, watching that game against the Raiders, there was such this lack of like discipline within the team. You got to be able to execute. It's not even so much about winning or losing in the preseason game, but what are guys doing well, what are they doing, and what's like being coached up, etc. Why is it that the Baltimore Ravens, no matter who they put out there, are able to win preseason games? What they've won? 26 straight preseason games? All right. I want to say it's like 26 straight preseason games. Again, that doesn't mean that they're going to be this great regular season team. And that Raiders game doesn't mean the 49ers are going to be a bad regular season team. But just from the standpoint of like coaching, how well are you coached up? What are you leaning on? The 49ers showed like, man, this group, we did not have them ready to play. And I was a little disappointed by that, watching it live. Very clunky, very up and down, hit and miss, and, obviously, like, I know a lot of people focused on the quarterback play, but for me, overall, it was just the 49ers did not look ready to play football. And I was very disappointed by that. So that's that game. So now heading into the Denver Bronco game, I was more so looking to see, do they fix a lot of those issues? Because you don't want those things to start to become like who you are, like trends. We don't want to see that. We want to see the 49ers execute, be one of the least penalized teams in the league. Think back to some of the bad games the 49ers had, right? A lot of people talk about week 1 against the Chicago Bears. 49ers played in the monsoon. They say, oh, it's the monsoon. Yeah, the monsoon kind of evens the playing field, but that's not why the 49ers lost. The 49ers committed over 100 yards of penalties. The 49ers committed terrible defensive penalties that kept the Bears on the field that led to 2 scores. Right? And I know you want to talk, oh, well, Trey Lance, he lost to this team. The 49ers were very undisciplined in that game. And those penalties cost them. You can't be undisciplined. Now, you saw 49ers go on a run, so clearly they fixed some stuff. And I'd be curious to see down the stretch how efficient the 49ers were from a penalty standpoint. Did they fix a lot of those things? Because if they did, you might see a direct correlation as to why they were able to win. Now, think of the game they lost. The last game the 49ers lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. That last game, they lost to the Eagles in the championship. I know, 49ers down bad. Your starting quarterback, Brock Purdy, gets hurt. Johnson gets hurt. But you know what? That wasn't even the biggest issue. The biggest issue, the penalties. There were what, three drive penalties that kept drives going early in that game that led to scores for the Eagles. It's typically going to be that, like for the 49ers, because they're a very good team. So how well are they going to be coached? Are they going to be disciplined? Are they going to be doing everything right? If they're doing those things, they're going to win a lot of freaking games, a lot of games. All right. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. We got over almost 200 people in here right now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And of course, this show is always powered and sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. I actually made some money. People are like, Croc, you betting on preseason games? You damn right I'm betting on preseason games. Not the game in the sense by itself, but just the players and their overall. I'll tell you who keeps hitting for me. Goddamn Ronnie Bell. And we're going to talk about him because I know I have some words for Ronnie Bell in the sense of just who he was, his draft eval. And there's certain things that's popping up. And this is why, whether it's Brock Purdy, whether it's Ronnie Bell, whether it's Talanoa Hufanga, these guys that just kind of figure it out. I don't speak in absolutes. And I saw my guy, Chris Roscoe's, he tagged me in one of his tweets and he's like, Croc taught me not to speak in absolutes. When I say not to speak in absolutes, this is where a guy can be right now. How can he work around maybe some of his deficiencies? And if he could do those things, then guess what? It's probably going to be really good, right? Like he's probably going to be, he could be a good player or at least be good in a role. So we're going to talk a little bit about Ronnie Bell. But Ronnie Bell is the guy right now on Underdog Fantasy. Take the over on his receptions because he is killing it. He made me some money. Again, that's promo code Crocky. Go to Underdog Fantasy or UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, they will double your deposit up to $100. Yeah. All right, so I was live on Bleacher Report after the game, and I did some winners and losers. But I was like, you know what? This is not my audience. All right, y'all are my audience. So I'm gonna go in here. I got the notes. I got the also got the people doing the yard stuff in the back. So if y'all hear yard, I probably need to close that window. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me close this window. All right. That's what happens when you live, man. Stuff like that happens when you live. But anyways, all right. So let's talk about some of these winners and losers. All right. We're going to start with the first guy that I noticed right away. Listen, special teams is going to show you a lot about who's jockeying for certain positions, roster spots. Like, again, when I tell y'all, like, Croc didn't have this NFL career, it wasn't because I couldn't cover. I was a 6'2", 200-pound cornerback that was physical, aggressive. I could run a little bit. Wasn't the fastest guy, but I could cover. I sucked at special teams. I don't know why. I tried really hard. I was terrible. I was never going to make it at the NFL level because that was my end. That was my end. It was goddamn special teams. So a lot of times I look, when I'm watching these preseason games, who's out there on kickoff coverage? Who's out there blocking on that front line kickoff return? All right. Who's back there returning? And as we start to look at the receiver position, there's some jockeying going on. And Ray McCloud, he got hurt, right? So he's going to, I would assume he's out 8 weeks. I think he's going to miss the first 4 games of the season. All right. So right there, Ray McCloud, he's your kick returner. He's your punt returner. Who's going to fill that role? I was paying attention against the Raiders. Who was back there first? I want to say it might have been Ronnie Bell. First crack at it, right? Returning punts, returning kicks. Okay. This week, it was somebody different. It was Danny Gray. So you got Danny Gray. He's live. All right. Danny Gray, he's live. And he's returning. And he gets hurt. So I don't like to start off with negatives, but we definitely got to start off with a negative on this one. The negative here is the first loser is Danny Gray. Danny Gray, you did not do anything as a rookie. And he's trying to find his footing, trying to find his way. I understand Kyle Shanahan, a lot of receivers, they struggle to kind of play a lot and have a big role in the offense for the 49ers, especially if he doesn't have to play you. All right. And this is not 2017. These dudes are right by my window. All right. This is not 2017. This is, and when I say not 2017, it's not Kendrick Bourne and Trent Taylor, and whoever else. All right. So Pierre Garcon, Aldrick Robinson, like you got Debo Samuel, you got Brandon, you got Juwan Jennings, you got guys that have solidified their roles on this team. So when you're Danny Gray back out there, like, what is going to be your value? What's going to be your value to this team? It's not just going to be running a go route here and there. You got to do things specifically on offense. But furthermore, you want to be active on game day, be good on special teams. So he's back there, kickoff return, punt return, and the opening kickoff return, he hurts his shoulder. And I'm not saying like, look, it's an unfortunate thing, right? When Trey Lance broke his ankle week 2, it was very unfortunate for him, but it opens up an opportunity for someone else. It opened up for Brock Purdy, and this one opened up an opportunity for one named Ronnie Bell. I don't know why I have to look at my phone with that. All right, but Ronnie Bell. So again, we're gonna stay on Danny Gray real quick, then we'll get to Ronnie Bell. But Danny Gray is definitely the first loser. You have big time opportunity here. You got to take advantage of it. You got to grab it by the bullhorns. And that's going to be your end to be active on game day. And then, okay, make a play here and there, catch here and there. Then, okay, can we build on this role? But when you get hurt, and I don't know how long, it sounds like it's kind of a shoulder sprain or something like that. I don't know how long he's going to be out. But all they did was open up an opportunity for Ronnie Bell. So that's our first winner. All right. Ronnie Bell is the first winner. First, let's talk about what Eric Crocker thought about Ronnie Bell coming out of college at Michigan. There were a couple things I noticed. And I still notice those things. All right. There were a couple of things I noticed. One, when he was running at guys as a receiver, the speed wasn't threatening guys. Like, so they weren't really threatened. You didn't see guys bailing out or whatever. And I'm like, okay, as a receiver, like, what's going to be his thing? And you see some quicks, you see some nice, okay, good route. But on a consistent basis, he's not really threatening guys. Where does he win? One thing that stood out right away was I thought he was an amazing blocker. And I was like, man, look how much effort this guy puts into blocking, run blocking, pass blocking, whatever it is. I'm like, look how much effort this guy puts into this. Okay. And you just continue to watch him and you see that physicality, you see that aggressiveness. I'm like, I bet Kyle Shanahan loves that about this guy. So probably when they sat down and talked with him, it's just a guy, he's going to do all the little things. Look, I'm not Eric Crocker. All right. Like, there's Ronnie Bell telling them, I ain't Eric Crocker. I'm going to be good on special teams, whatever y'all need me to do. And I saw him. I'm like, Kyle's going to like that. There's going to be a role for this guy. Okay. But as a receiver, we'll see what it looks like at the NFL level. And early in the game, there was a deep comeback that he ran. I want to say Sam Darnold threw it to him. It was third down, and he got strapped, right? I don't think that Ronnie Bell is going to be this just on the outside, just run vertical, sit the route down, and I'm just going to whoop guys, come threaten them by my speed. I don't think he's that guy. All right, as a receiver. But as a slot receiver, and as an outside receiver, but as a slot receiver, I think him being able to play in space, maybe be closer to the line of scrimmage, be able to block, utilize him there because he is very aggressive in that standpoint. We saw them throw the screens to him. What he did after that, we saw how he can kind of run routes from space with space, and he's aggressive. He's catching slants over the middle. Like, you continue to do those things, there's going to be a spot for you on this team. And it had me on Locked On 49ers talking about what does, in the sense of roles, all right, because guys have specific roles. So Juwan Jennings, all right, if I'm talking to y'all and I'm like, Juwan Jennings, what is Juwan Jennings' role on this team? Like, what is Juwan Jennings? If y'all had to guess, and I see you guys in the chat right now, if I say, hey, what's Juwan Jennings' role? What do y'all say? Oh, man, he's going to catch some quick outs. He might be able to, catch a bang eight, essentially kind of like a skinny post, put it on the box out, defensive back. He's going to block very well. Like, and that's kind of his role. Then I start looking at a guy like Ronnie Bell. And I'm like, well, doesn't Ronnie Bell do those things well in the preseason? This is the preseason. This is not a regular season game. But in the preseason, and just looking at his role, trying to figure out what Ronnie Bell's niche might be, the things that he does well consistently. And it looks like, hey, he's going to be aggressive. He's going to block. Hey, you throw some screens to me. I can run those quick outs. I can run those bang eights. I can run those slants. And I was trying to think, like, if you gave him an opportunity, because a lot of this stuff be about opportunity, bro. A lot of it be about opportunity. And I've talked a lot about my guy Isaiah Hodgins. And I nicknamed Isaiah Hodgins. First of all, I knew him when he was back in high school. But I nicknamed Isaiah Hodgins. All he does is catch touchdowns. Because when he was playing for Oregon State, felt like all he did was catch touchdowns. Then he gets to the league, and Buffalo is like, you're going to be on our practice squad. And I'm like, this guy's better than a practice squad player. Maybe he didn't have that special teams value. All right. But, and they just didn't give him an opportunity, didn't give him an opportunity. And then finally, he plays in his first game live, active. This was last year, all right, after spending a year and a half on the practice squad or 2 years on the practice squad, however long it was. And he finally plays in an active game. And guess what happens? They targeted him, and he catches 4 passes. And then after the game, they try to put him back on practice squad. So what they do, they waived him so they could put him back on the practice squad. And that was at the time the Bills had injuries. All right, they had injuries. I don't know if Diggs was hurt or Davis was hurt or whatever, but they had some injuries. They waived him. And the Giants said, we need some receivers. We're going to sign Isaiah Hodgins and put him on our active roster. They put Isaiah Hodgins on the active roster. I'm gonna pull up his stats real quick. All right, Isaiah Hodgins. Because after dude, you can't make this up. So when I talk about a lot of stuff be about opportunity, a lot of stuff be about opportunity, bro. And then a lot of it be about making the most out of your opportunities. So in 2022, all right, he finally played in active games, 2 active games, 6 targets, right? He caught 4 passes on 6 targets for 41 yards. That's cool. Then they waived him. Thought he would clear waivers. Buffalo did. They said, nah. Giants said, we're finna sign him. For the Giants, okay, listen, these were the first 4 catches he had since goddamn coming into the league a couple years ago. Giants signed him 33 catches and 4 touchdowns, 350 yards. That's better than anything Juwan Jennings has done. But again, a lot of it, and again, I'm not trying to pin him against Juwan Jennings, but it's opportunity. So when I look at Ronnie Bell. When I look at Ronnie Bell, and I'm starting to try to figure out who he is and what he does, I think he fits Juwan Jennings' role very well. And I know because of the size difference, we think about the blocking part of it, but go watch the breakdown I did of him and watch what he does as a blocker. That might have been the first thing I noted because I noticed how well he did it. Terrific blocker. Puts his whole body into it. He's good there. And then as a pass catcher, I think he gives you a little bit more. So a lot of his opportunity, I don't know if this is preseason and we see guys do a lot of stuff in preseason, then they kind of just don't see him again. But a lot of it has to do with opportunity. And Ronnie Bell right now is making the most of his opportunity, and not just as a receiver and blocking and pass catching and all of that, but also as a special teamer. What do you have? 1 kickoff return, I want to say, was 25 yards. Punt return, 28 yards. So when we look at Ray McCloud and what he does, his biggest thing for the team is, I'm going to be a kickoff returner, punt returner, top 3 in punt return average, top 10 in kickoff return average. All right, like you're a good returner, okay, and you got some value as a receiver and stuff like that. When you start getting down to it and trying to save money and cut, you got to sign Nick Bosa, all these other guys. How we going to save some money? Ray McCloud, we don't need you no more. Juwan J, we don't need you because we got this guy, Ronnie Bell, who can do those things. Now, you got to do it live. You got to do it in regular season. But I'm loving what I'm seeing so far from him. And as a guy who, I was like, he's going to make the team. I don't know. I mean, his best asset is blocking and stuff like that. He's showing like, nah, Croc, I'm a little more than that. I'm a little more than just a blocker, Croc. Watch me. Now, again, from a outside receiver, I don't know. Slot? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, want to talk about Ronnie Bell, and I think I saw somebody with a super chat. I'm going to get to the super chats, too, by the way, y'all. But did Bell just make the 53? No way it clears waivers. I think Bell is writing his ticket. Now, he got a couple hiccups, okay? He has dropped 2 balls that went through his hands and resulted in an interception, and he fumbled. So it was a weird kind of mixed bag of, man, some really highs, and then, like, he's had some really lows, all right? But I think just in the sense of what he's going to be consistently, I think we're starting to figure that out. And I'd be surprised right now at this moment if he doesn't make the 53. Now, you got some other guys on there that are doing good as well. Like Chris Conley is doing very well. But right now, it looks like Ronnie Bell, he's kind of making it. Juwan Jennings slander. Recent Locked On 49ers episode, you asked Brian, what does Juwan Jennings do well at 19 minutes, 55 seconds in? Come on. When I said, okay, this is great. When I say what he's doing, I know what he does well. I was asking Peacock, like, what does he do well? So then I can ask him, what are we seeing from Ronnie Bell that he can or can't do with what Juwan Jennings does? I think Juwan Jennings is very specific. Is quick out, bang 8, good blocker. And then I asked myself, do I think Ronnie Bell can do those things? So that's the question. I don't know. What y'all think? All right. Let's get back to some of these winners and losers. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in right now. Let's go. Hey, and this is going to be our time. Monday through Thursday. We're going live Monday through Thursday. I'm here now. All right. Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. Let's go. All right. Here we go. Another winner. All right. And for obvious reasons, Brock Purdy. 5 months ago, having surgery, and to see him just ready to suit up week 1, like your starting quarterback of your team, the confidence that exudes throughout the fan base, throughout the team. You hear Kyle Shanahan, how he speaks about him. To see him just out there and it's like, hey, he looks like Brock Purdy. That is a win for him, and I think that's a win for the team. So outside of that, I don't have too much to say about his performance. I thought I would have liked to see him maybe do one more series, but hey, come in here, you move the ball, field goal. All right, get him out of there, keep him healthy. I understand. But I would have liked to see him play one more series. All right, I would like to see him play one more series. Let's go to a loser. Isaiah Oliver. I'm watching the game, and I look, and I'm like, Diamador Lenore is starting in the slot? Ambry Thomas is starting on the outside? Okay, so surely Travis Ward must be out. No, Travis Ward, he's out there too. He's playing. Where the hell is Isaiah Oliver? Big loser going on here. All right. Did not play well against the Raiders. Was targeted 4 times, gave up 4 catches. Slot is difficult. I will give him that. Slot is difficult. But for them to just say, after one preseason game, and they've watched him throughout training camp, but after one preseason game, they're like, you know what, Isaiah Oliver? We're going to have somebody replace you. Lenore, you've been playing all offseason as an outside guy. We're going to put you in the slot over Isaiah Oliver, who we brought in as a free agent, not making a ton of money, but making enough to where you would assume like he's going to be a starter. He's making a hell of a lot more than Diamador Lenore. Now, these are things you try to figure out who fits what and why and whatnot. Did you have to go out there and spend that $3 million on him? I don't know. We're going to figure it out. But so far for Isaiah Oliver, it hasn't been great. And he has to be a loser here because this is a tailor-made opportunity. They're kind of like handing you. All you got to do is just hold on a little bit. And he couldn't do that after one preseason performance. And then he played in this game. And this is why he's even more so the loser here than just because he got benched. And we'll see if that holds true. But sometimes, they be trying to see things this preseason. Hey, let's throw Lenore out there. I don't think that's what's going on. I think they truly, we want to play Lenore over you. That's what it feels like. All right. But, all right, you got an opportunity here. And again, I am really big on taking advantage of your opportunities. And he's playing in the slot. There's a 3rd down opportunity. Tight end catches the ball in the flats. Go make the tackle. You make the tackle, team gets off the field. He did not make the tackle. He whiffed. And that led to a big gain on 3rd down. That can't happen. Again, someone asked me about the NFL and, this guy and this guy is starters. More so than not, it's about consistency. And when you're consistently giving up plays, and then you're not making plays, then you have the opportunity to make a play and get the team off the field, and you whiff on the tackle, that's not good. That's not good. That is not good. So Isaiah Oliver, we'll see how everything kind of plays out for him. But right now, he's kind of setting up to where, injuries happen, things happen. Maybe he'll get back out there on the field. But right now, he's in a tough spot because they got Lenore in there over him. And I don't think they had any plans of doing that. Now, they probably knew, hey, this is going to be in our back pocket, which, and anybody will tell you, I identify Lenore as a better nickel than the outside guy. And that's not to say he can't play outside. I just think for what he is, who he is, this scrappy guy, he got good feet, change of direction. Not sure he has the most vertical pushing speed. All right. But I think he's tailor-made to play in the slot and be a damn good nickel defender. And he's just kind of had to play outside because of injuries. But now he's going to have to play inside because Isaiah Oliver, a guy who you signed right now after one preseason game, not even the regular season, you're like, let's see what Lenore looks like there. And that was That was pretty interesting. All right, what was not expecting that. Again, I know he didn't have a great outing, but I was not expecting that. All right, I see everybody in the chat right now. We're gonna continue to get to these winners and losers. Let's go with one more loser here. All right, and well, right now before we get to another winner, but John Feliciano giving up a sack, getting bulldozed. All right, and here's the thing: at the NFL level, there are not a lot of good offensive linemen. You have you have probably most teams are like, can I get like three good offensive linemen starters, maybe four, right? Can I get four? Ideally, you want five, but you'll probably have like three to four like legit starters. You ain't gonna have hella Trent Williams, all right? They one of the best linemen I've ever seen, but just you know. Aaron Banks might just be a legit starter. Would he be great? I don't know, but he might just be. You know what? I'm a good starter. Spencer Burford, we'll see. But it's like he might just be a good starter. But like John Feliciano just might be somebody who is like, we don't want to have to play him. We hope we don't have to play him, but he's probably going to make the team because he has a lot of experience and he's played, and we could put him at center. Maybe we could put him at guard. But Sam Darnold, and we'll get to Sam Darnold, had a terrific throw. Under pressure, free runner in his face, beats the blitz with the throw, puts it on Jawan Jennings. All right, bang 8. And they got called back for holding. Like, to me, like, that's not great. Now, maybe that's just one rep. But then when you're giving up a sack and then you're getting bodied in the run game, like, that's not ideal. So, John Feliciano, he's definitely going to be a loser here. All right. And then I'll go kind of one more loser. Mitch Wishnowsky, 2 shanks and a punt from midfield that got fair caught at the 20. Now, when I look at him, he's good. Like all the guys that I've talked about so far are guys trying to like find their role on the team. Will they make it? Will they make the final roster? Right? Like I think that's what preseason is more important for those guys. But I just had to note Wishnowsky. He's not in any type of trouble. He's gonna be your guy, but that was just ugly. So I had to just note like that's not a good performance by our guy, Wishnowsky. Shank too. I mean, one was like 38 yards, the other one was like 35 yards, and then pump from midfield that landed at, I mean, they fair caught the ball at the 20. Like, bro, what are you doing? That needs to be inside the 10. All right. So definitely not a great performance by Wishnowsky. Let's get back to some of these winners. All right. Deebo Samuel, because he looks like Deebo Samuel. Looks a little slimmer, quick, fast, light on his feet. We saw early on he was targeted twice, and both times, I mean, passes at the line of scrimmage from Brock Purdy. And it's just like, I'm going to take this for like 30, and I'm going to take this other one for like 15. I don't know exactly how many yards they were, but I know they were really good gains. And it was like, looks like Deebo Samuel's back. So definitely wanted to throw Deebo Samuel in there. T.Y. McGill, he had a really nice hustle on a screenplay, right? So he kind of runs in, they throw the screen, he spins the block, all right, and then ends up making the tackle. Nice hustle play. I noticed that. Then he had a sack later in the game. I was like, man, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I put Conley on here. I said he continues to win as a receiver, but where's his special teams value? That's something I'm going to be looking for. All right. And then let's get to the last couple winners, and then I'll bring y'all on live. All right. Matter of fact, I'll put the link in the chat right now. So anybody that wants to come on live, feel free, and boom, there we go. All right, there's the link. So you guys could, feel free to come on live, and you guys could tell me some guys that you guys think are, winners or losers from this game. But winners, I'll say both Sam Darnold and Trey Lance, and for different reasons. When I watch Sam Darnold, and I feel like there's a lot of pushback on Sam because of his past history. All right, listen, it's like, females. Some females, they go through these stages early on, and people don't want to let them shake that narrative of maybe who she used to be. But like, man, she's different now, bro. We all do things when we were younger, and now we're older, we're wiser, and hey, I'm not that person anymore. So I've seen that with a lot of females, and you see them just grow up, and now all of a sudden it's like, what, that is a really good woman. All right, that's a good woman, and I say that about Sam Darnold. I don't know if he's the good woman yet, but I will say this. I'm not going to hold Sam Darnold's past like as to why he can't be good for the 49ers. or a good backup for the 49ers or a good starter for the 49ers. Sam Darnold was drafted number 3 overall. Number 3 overall doesn't mean anything other than you will have an immense amount of talent. And I think so far we've seen him show that he is a talented quarterback. Now, what have been his biggest issues? Again, I talk about holding things against him. 55 or 58 turnovers in 55 games, whatever it is. He has turned the ball over way too much. Has not been good. How much of it is a product of his environment? How much of it is, hey man, like I was kind of set up to maybe not be a great quarterback early on? How much of, with some of these women, man, my dad wasn't around. I had nobody around that showed me, what a man is supposed to look like or how a man is supposed to treat you or how a woman is supposed to treat a man. Right. And, maybe eventually she learns. And I think maybe Sam Darnold, there's an opportunity where he learns. All right. Like there's an opportunity for Sam Darnold to say, you know what? I've turned the ball over twice in 2 preseason games. Well, it both went off Ronnie Bell's hands. Like I threw it right to him. He dropped the ball. Okay. He dropped it and it gets picked off. But other than that, what I've been seeing from him, when we talk about running Kyle Shanahan's offense, and I'm gonna say something that might be, oh shoot, hey, Emiliano, that's a lot of effing turnovers. 90 total turnovers in 55 games. Listen, that's a lot. I knew it wasn't a good amount, but I didn't know it was that much. All right, but when I watch him in Kyle Shanahan's offense, and I actually said this, man, I said this on Twitter. I responded to somebody. I said this. I said, I wouldn't be surprised if you gave Kyle Shanahan some truth serum. If he tells you that his favorite quarterback out of the group is Sam Darnold, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Kyle said that that's his favorite quarterback. Because some of the things that I'm seeing him do, all right, he has the ability to make most of the throws, if not all of the throws, that Trey Lance can. He still gives you that plus athleticism. We saw it on the scramble up the middle, picked up a nice little 10 yards. That's easy for me. All right, whatever. But he also can make all the throws that Brock Purdy might not attempt. All right, like he's more talented than Brock Purdy. Now, Brock Purdy, again, he's not in this conversation. He is your starting quarterback. But just in the sense of watching Sam Darnold and what it looks like, throwing deep outs, looks effortless. I'm not saying he's this great guy. There's 55 games on film that say he's probably a bad quarterback. But I'm not going to hold those things against him. What does he look like with the 49ers? Because that's all that matters right now. And right now, even though the 49ers did score a bunch of points with him out there, 1 touchdown really, and it took I don't know how long, damn near 2 quarters for him to get a score, all right, and move the ball. But when I was just watching them, all right, and this is why it's tough. You can't box score scout. You can't just go off of, well, this is this. What does it look like? And to me, it looks like a quarterback that understands how to run the offense efficiently. It looks like a quarterback that can make all the throws, and it looks like a quarterback that can threaten every area of the field and also utilize his legs. That's what it looks like. So listen, I'm not gonna go out. I'm not gonna say that this guy is this amazing quarterback. I don't know, but like I'm not gonna hold the past of a woman against her. I'm also not gonna hold the past of Sam Darnold against him. What does this woman do for me right now? What does Sam Darnold do for me right now? What does he do for Kyle right now? That's more important than what he was with the New York Jets, seeing ghost. What he was with the Carolina Panthers, firing their coach in the middle of the season. It looks solid. It looks solid. So I'd say right now, he's a winner. And I saw early on in the chat, I think it was Jude, and he's like, tell me Sam Darnold's not QB2. I'd say right now, if there was, I think Kyle likes him a lot. So that's all we're going to say about Sam. All right, now we get to Trey Lance. Let's start with the Raider game, because, again, I didn't get to give my thoughts on Trey Lance. It was a lot of what I'm watching him now, and I do this with Brock Purdy as well. I have an evaluation of guys when they're coming out of college. Okay, I didn't have one of Brock Purdy because I didn't watch somebody that was going to be drafted late or undrafted. But I have this evaluation, and I want to see, like, okay, like, what do they work around? What things are they doing better now? Et cetera. Like, what does it look like? What's the projection of him? Like, where is he headed? So I know everybody wants to hang on to every single throw of all these guys. I'm not going to hang on to every single throw. For me, it's just more so about where is he at? What is he doing? Is he doing things that Kyle wants him to do? And I look at it from that standpoint with all the guys. And I have an idea what Kyle wants. All right. He kind of wants his cake and wants to eat it too, but essentially, if you are Kirk Cousins, he's fine with that. I think that's why he might like Sam Darnold a lot, because he actually gives you a little bit more than Kirk, but he just hasn't been as good as Kirk. But can he be as good as Kirk with me? I think that's what Kyle's thinking. All right, but Trey Lance, I watched him in the Raiders game, and it was clear early on. I don't know if scatterbrain is the right word to use, but things were moving a little fast for him. All right, first play of the game, I see him about to throw the hitch to the outside, and the corner jumped it. The corner jumped the hitch, and I'm like, good job not throwing, but ultimately he got sacked. All right, maybe could have came left and threw it right now, but he tried to come back to the middle. That was jump, so he took a sack. Throws a quick out, complete. Then he comes back and he gets sacked again, where it looked like he didn't trust his tight end. I want to say it was Ross Dwelly on like a little stop route. All right, I was like, what, Ross, just get into your route and then throw it. But Trey, you got to throw it regardless, because you just got to let it go. All right, and if it hits him in the back of the helmet, like that's on him. Like get in your fucking route. All right, but I saw a lot of that where it was just like unsure. Now, I'll make an excuse for him. Usually, I don't make excuses for him. I might talk about why I think Trey does certain things and whatnot. Right, why did he do this, or why did he not do that? Or oh man, like this is a tough situation for Trey because of X, Y, Z, or whatever. Man, just needs reps, whatever. But this will be the first time I make like a legit excuse for him. With some of the guys he's throwing to, how consistently has he thrown to those guys in practice to where he understands the timing of that guy getting in and out of a route or break, right? Like that is something when it comes to like, I have to throw with anticipation and timing. Like, how comfortable am I doing it with this guy? This is not Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams where Aaron Rodgers can throw to Devontae Adams blind. All right. But it does have a lot to do with how comfortable am I doing it. And maybe he's just not. And that's what it looked like. It looked like he wasn't comfortable for whatever reason. But then he made some throws, and it's like, okay, that's good. Nice deep in breaking route to Conley, hit him on another one, started getting a little rhythm, had a weird touchdown that wasn't an interception touchdown, whatever it was. All right. But I just walked away thinking that was definitely a mixed bag of some things that I really liked from Trey and some things that I felt like were ugly. And my biggest thing was, what does it look like heading into the Broncos game? Right. So I'm not going to judge them. I saw people crushing them. And again, I wasn't on social media really last week. In the sense of tweeting and all that. I didn't do any podcast at all, not even Locked On 49ers. Peacock held it down for me. But I'm seeing social media, and they are crushing Trey. And I'm like, okay, I know that it was a weird game for him, and you're still seeing some of that clunkiness offensively. But I didn't think it was to the extent of some of the things I heard. Like, this guy just can't play in the NFL. He's not an NFL quarterback. When his mom raised him from the pussy, he couldn't play. Whatever they were saying, I was like, what? Like, I'm not seeing that. I am seeing the guy that just, bro, you got to settle down and let it rip. All right. Now, watching against the Broncos. And I think early on, he was kind of letting it rip a little too much, right? Almost threw a pick over the middle on these sit-down routes. Not pulling the trigger on this crossing route, kind of rolling out and then throwing a weird ball. All right. And I'm like, Trey, this is not ideal. Now, there were a couple things that did not work in his favor. There was some, he had a nice run, the designed run, picked up 10, 12 yards, whatever it was, call back for holding. Things like that can kind of throw you out of a rhythm. All right. But early on, I was just like, interception, right? The weird interception on the tipped screen. Great play by D lineman, but okay, you shouldn't throw a pick to him. All right, I'm watching. I'm like, Trey Lance is about to end up on the loser side of things for me. And then it started to click, and he's just letting it rip, and he's completing passes, and he rolls to the left, and he does a little sidearm, and Tay Martin drops it, and then there was a holding penalty anyways, but then he's throwing darts, and he's throwing slants, and the cleats in the ground, slant route, boom, his guy in stride. Then Ronnie Bell, curl route, throws with anticipation. And okay, then I'm going to throw it. And I was like, Trey, why can't you be that all the time? Because if you're that all the time, and I hear people, well, it's against future plumbers. Again, the gap is not nearly as wide as people think from a talent perspective with some of these guys that are on the field right now. All right. Some of it's consistency. Okay. There's a blown coverage on the touchdown. It looked like one guy came down. Maybe he should have carried it. But good job by Trey looking off the safety this way and then throwing the seam route backside to the right for a touchdown. That was good stuff by Trey. Love to see it. And that ball got tipped too, which I didn't even notice at first. All right, but touchdown to Latu. Good job, Latu. All right, but when I watch Trey, like some of the things he started to do, and we see this a lot with him, it's like the more he starts to get comfortable, the more he just starts to like let it rip. And I don't know if it's the pressure of the circumstances. I don't know if it's this, maybe he's just, I don't know, never going to be a consistent quarterback in the league, which would essentially be somebody that's just not good. But what we saw late in that game with just the confidence and him just letting it rip and the tight window throws and that throw to Snead were like the only place you could put the ball. When he starts to do those things, like keep doing that. Because if you're doing that, there's nobody on this 49ers roster that could touch you. Like if you're able to do that and then utilize your legs within the game as well. But he just hasn't been that guy consistently for whatever reason. And I'm pretty sure that probably drives Kyle crazy. And I'm pretty sure that's why he potentially might be the third string quarterback. All right, I know people don't want to hear it, but it's realistic. But why? Because we need you to be that more often. Now, for him to be that more often, it might just take more reps because it is very clear. The more he gets settled in, the more he starts to kind of get in the groove. And it feels like that's every game. Whereas like every game, it's the more I'm comfortable I might throw this and this looks weird early on. Then I start getting in the rhythm and I'm throwing these balls. I'm throwing darts all over the place. But it is not consistent. And if it's not, Kyle ain't having it. So he is a winner in the sense of how he finished that game. And I thought that was tremendous. I think it was a big confidence boost for him. But I would assume Kyle doesn't want to see the lows mixed in with that. So we saw the highs. We saw the ability. We know he can sling it. The guy that you were throughout that entire fourth quarter, pretty much, be that guy all the time, Trey. And if you're that guy all the time, they can't touch you. But the fact that you're not that guy all the time is the reason why Kyle would definitely prefer Brock over you, and might prefer Sam Darnold over you because of that. I would guess right now, he just knows more about what he's going to get from Sam Darnold than he does Trey Lance. But it's because of what you're putting on film. So be the guy that you were late, sling it, play with anticipation, throwing, making all the throws, all the stuff, and these other guys can't touch you. We just don't know if you're going to be that guy from throw to throw. And that's the issue. That's the issue. So again, a lot of this is about trying to figure out, because we got a limited sample size on Trey from college, and NFL didn't throw a lot of passes, all that, right? What are you going to be consistently? You're a smart kid. You're a hard worker. You have all the ability in the world. Be more consistent. And if you're that, they can't touch you. I don't see bust. I don't see a guy that can't play at the NFL level. I see a guy that just, the more he's throwing the ball around, he just gets better. So it might just be a reps thing. But time is ticking. And you got Brock Purdy doing well. You got Sam Darnold. He's letting it rip. So I love what I saw from him late in that game. Be that guy all the time. And we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in right now. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We got some people coming on right now. Got a lot of people that have been waiting very patiently. All right, we are going to put the clock on y'all this morning. So everybody got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes? I'm going to put the timer on. 3 minutes. You get your takes off winners, losers from the game, just overall thoughts. But everybody's going to have 3 minutes. Appreciate all 365 people in here right now. And also, y'all can listen to the live version of this. The audio version of this on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. So as soon as we finish here, I'm going to download it and I'll be loading it so that y'all can hear that version of it as well. All right. But here we go. Everybody's going to have 3 minutes. I'm going to start this clock. All right. We got the timer. We got it at 3 minutes. And here we I gotta put my headphones in. All right, here we go. We got people coming on. Everybody got 3 minutes. Get your takes off first. We starting off with our guy, Mr. Blue Magic.
Yeah, what's poppin', Croc? I had to jump in. I ain't catch you on Twitter neither, but I'm gonna be back on there later. All right. First off, get ready for a down season, everybody. I've been
Woo.
saying this for the longest. The travel, the strength of schedule, and I've been talking about our line depth on the defense and the offense. It's terrible. If we have any significant injuries this year, it's gonna be even worse.
Mm.
I, I'm I like where we look at corner. I like where we look at linebacker. Brock is Brock. Brock is hasn't really lost a step. We not gonna really be able to see nothing until the season starts. But last night, I mean not last night. Well, against Denver, he looked like he was his regular self. I believe that Kyle can scheme up for Sam, so Sam won't look terrible. But let's get for real. Sam is Sam. His decision making, especially as the game progresses, gets worse. Trey needs reps. Trey flashed a lot. He's starting to trust more. And you made a great point. When you don't have consistencies and you don't build chemistry with your receivers, you don't trust them. And that's something that a lot of people don't take into account. If you watch his helmet, he goes through his progressions correctly. He goes through his reads, but it's just like a point guard. If I know my shooter can't shoot on a wing, I'm not gonna give him the ball on a wing to shoot. So I'm gonna pass him up on that open wing. That's something else we got to pay attention to. Jude, I would rather Trey, in my opinion, as a backup if things went sour. Now, if Purdy went down for a quarter or two, I don't mind Sam if we have a lead because once again, Kyle's scheming. But here's something else that we got to remember: Kyle's game script in the beginning is excellent, but after halftime, when other teams adjust, Kyle does not adjust well. He does not at all. That's why in late game situations, there's so many fumbles. And we have been undisciplined in the beginning on offense and on defense. Like you said, the Bears game, a lot of people forget that. Debo, fumble, 100 plus penalty yards, blown coverages. We start off very undisciplined, and that's on coaching.
Yeah.
Like we give these players all this flack because we like Brock or we like Sam or we like Trey or we like Deep. We have to start holding the organization accountable for all of this because they have created this. It started when you got Trey and you didn't get rid of Jimmy. Now you have Brock. If Brock's the guy, and like I said, I'm not a Brock fan, I'm not a Trey fan, I'm a Niner fan at the end of the day. Once you have your guy, get whoever's over his shoulder out of here. Take the pressure off him. And Croc, I had to put the hat on since you put
Yeah.
yours on.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. And I love the Halloween shirt, man. Michael Myers, he's like a roller coaster for me. Like I love roller coasters, like the thrill of it, but I'm like terrified of it. And that's Michael Myers to me, man.
Say
It's
that.
the best villain of all time. But I appreciate you coming on, Mr. Blue
Hey
Magic.
yo,
I'm gonna
and
get you next time.
tell bro stop playing because we need him on at least once a week. I
Who?
don't want to hear none of that. Your brother, we need it. We need him on
Oh,
that
my bro.
co-host.
All
Yeah,
right. I think he's in New York. I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna see if he's back here in Stockton. So if he's
and
back, I'm gonna get him on.
he came to the city and he ain't holler at me. Yeah,
Yeah,
we talking to do.
he'll do
Hey,
some
Jesse,
rapper videos shooting stuff. I
hey,
don't know.
hey, and Jesse, I'm a DM you on Twitter. I got something for you.
All right. Appreciate you coming on.
You already know.
Yes, sir. All right, great call. Okay, everybody. Hey, I appreciate y'all, man. We get in and out today. 3 minutes. Next caller. I saw Case 49. He was in, then he dipped out, but he's back in. So we're gonna go to Case 49. Case 49, how you doing this morning?
Yo, Croc, what's going on with you, baby? How you doing, man?
Oh
Doing
man, I'm
good?
chilling. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Just want to talk about this game real quick, man. Yeah, man, it was a good game. You know, the game went how I actually wanted it to go. You know, I wanted to see me.
You there? Hello? Oh, okay, it's 49. He might be having some technical difficulties. I'm putting backstage so he can figure that out. All right, we're gonna get to the next caller here. We got Tia Ingram coming on. Tia, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm blessed. I'm feeling great.
I just wanted to make a few points. I know you touched on it a little bit, but that all that mess that was last week, it took everything in my spirit not to just start cussing everybody out because I felt bad for him because they better be lucky he is really God fearing because I wanted him to just go off on everybody because it was to the point where it was disrespectful. It was where I should put
Very,
hands on some people
very.
at this point, and
Why
I
do
was
you think
also
it's that? And I know you only got 3 minutes, but why do
Mhm.
you think it's? Why do you think they disrespect him to the extent that they do? Because this is something that I know Kyle came out and he was like, well, it kind of comes with the territory of being a top pick for any position, but for him, it feels like, uh, and I don't know. I hear different things. Let me pause this real quick so I don't take up your time. But I hear some people say it's because of it could be clickbaity, like 49er fans are gonna they're gonna ride for their players regardless of who it is. So if you talk about one of their players, it's gonna be really out there. I thought they did it with Jimmy G. I thought it was very wild how they used to attack Jimmy G. I'm like, it's just not a bad quarterback. Like,
Mhm.
why y'all talk about Jimmy G like that? But why do you think they are as bullish on Lance, a guy who hasn't played much? We talk about Sam Darnold, and I talked about not holding his pass against him, but 55 starts. Trey Lance has like 3 or 4. So why are they so bullish on like this guy's just such a disaster, he just can't play football at all?
In my opinion, now I don't know the details, but it started with Cowherd. Whatever that situation happened between his daughter and him,
Yeah.
and then Mike Silver jumped on the bandwagon where he was I guess the insider for Cowherd, and it just seemed like it just kept going. Now, if it didn't work, damn it, your daughter got to get somebody else. I'm sorry, I just don't understand what the problem is. Like, hey, you get in a relationship, hey, it don't work out. Okay, I don't know. Maybe she thought she was coming up. I don't know, but your daddy is set, so you should be fine. I don't know where the animosity is coming from. They act like he went out there, got her pregnant, left her alone, and now she got a baby out here running around, and he ain't taking care of. That's what it seemed like to me.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I'm like I'm really me and my husband trying to feel like, did he do something? Like,
Yeah.
did he hit everybody's daughter? Like, what is? I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It's
Yeah.
so much animosity towards a kid that like, if you want to say, okay, he looked bad, cool, I get it. But all this mess coming out, Shady McCoy and Husman's Manzada, like, fam, stop. Like, it was Ocho Cinco, and because they was double teaming Ocho Cinco, you was getting wide open shots. Like, you act like you was the Cincinnati. No, you wasn't. Stop it. Like, you was good, but you act like y'all are like top tier players and y'all telling who should be off the team and who is trash. Like, y'all would never say none of this stuff in his face. Point blank, period. Y'all getting on here because you have a microphone. You have to be cautious of what you say on TV.
Yeah.
Period. Because you don't want somebody to come out here and say that about your child.
Man.
You'll be very upset. That's where
Mm.
I'm standing. Like, I was like, I was disappointed that it was nobody coming out taking up for him. Like, if you want to say he played bad, cool. But that bland answer that Kyle Shanahan gave out, like, come on. Like, you got to, that was out of line. Way out of line. And nobody took up for him. Nobody. That's what pissed me off the most, is like, nobody's going to come out and say, hey, you got Mostert, who's not on our team, standing up for
One
somebody who is
person.
not on our team.
Yeah. The
How
one
he gonna come
person.
out and say something and say y'all hella disrespectful? But the teammates that's on here that had T-shirts for Jimmy Garoppolo had their cheerleader, uniform on. Every time somebody says something about Jimmy, you see Kittle out there cheering him on. You see Debo out here cheering him on. You see Fred. You see all these other people. Where are y'all same energy for Trey? That was my issue out of all of it. I was disappointed that the team and the organization didn't stand up for him, because when it got to that point where it was hella disrespectful, somebody should have came out and said something. Because they look at, I'm not on the team, because I would have cussed everybody out who had something to say, and I would have just had to lose my job, because that to me, that was out of line, and that's
Right.
how I feel.
All right. Well, T, I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna get to the next caller.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's a good point. Mostert was the only guy. Then I did see, and I see East Coast Niner here say Kinlaw did too. I want to say Kinlaw posted what Mostert said, but like Mostert was, and it's like, dude, like this trade's been getting used as a punching bag in the media for a little while now, and it's like it takes a guy that's not even on the team to just be like, come on, like y'all taking it too damn far now with some of this stuff. And he's right, like it's kind of wild to the extent. Now again, you want to say somebody's just like, I don't think I see it, or okay, but like when your mama raised you out the pussy, he wasn't a quarterback with instincts or whatever. It's like, wow, like that's where we going with it. Like that's how we taking it. That's crazy. And the reason why when it comes to things like that, that's like we're getting kind of disrespectful. I don't like when people say things that like they wouldn't say to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you feel like, like in person, you wouldn't run up on me and say these things to me, like you just see me on the streets, like that's when to me it's like, okay, like don't say those things on the damn TV. Like it's just kind of wild. But maybe that just comes with the territory, like how Shanahan said, of just being a NFL quarterback and being a top pick. All right, here we go. Next up, we got my guy, CJ Gray. Let's go.
What's going on, Croc?
Now I'm doing good. How you doing?
All right. Now, I just want to first start with your Sam Darnold comparison about if not holding a woman's past against him. Now, let's say if that woman had an OnlyFans or she was some kind of porn star before, and you and everybody in the world knew she was a hoe, you still not gonna hold her past against her, Croc?
I'm talking about like more normal stuff, like people, people be doing what they do and stuff like that. Like now there's some stuff for me where I'm like, okay, no, I'm cool off that. You feel me? But I mean, if we just talking about like regular stuff, like and okay, this girl slept with this guy. Okay, like man, I don't know how many chicks I done hit like that. I'm cool with that. But yeah, you start getting wild and stuff, and stuff all on the internet. Like, okay, now I'm cool on that one.
But that's what I'm trying to say is Sam Darnold has played 55 games and turned the ball over nearly 100 times.
Yeah.
So that to me that is equivalent of a chick having an OnlyFans and stuff, and everybody know that she a hoe and she just busted open for a real one. I'm serious.
Yeah,
I'm serious. So I'm holding Sam's past against him. In other words,
because you just say it was just too bad. Like he was getting trains ran on him and everything. I can't overlook it.
The choo-choos had the gang bangs and everything. Yo.
Oh man,
that's Sam Darnold, yo. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Now, as far as Trey is concerned, I want Trey to play, but I was on the take. My take from last week is still the same, even though he played much better this weekend. Is that he's going to become who he is, perhaps for somebody else, just because what you saw in game 1 and in game 2, if he starts right now with his lack of experience, all of that's going to happen all in the same game during different time intervals. And until he gets the reps he needs, he's not going to show you that fourth quarter performance from the Denver game on a consistent basis. And with Brock in the way, and then these people with this reckless talk of putting Darnold at number 2, and he's kind of looked okay enough to where you could justify putting him at number 2 right now. How's Trey going to get on the field to get his reps to be able to get better?
I think Kyle's past that. I think Kyle's past that.
And so that's what I'm saying is just even though he did play well, which is encouraging, and I hope the young man gets his opportunity and so forth, because I like him and I think his talent, his upside is pretty good. Man, that ball comes off his hands and at times it looks like Favre. So I just hope that he gets his chance, but I just don't really see it. And hopefully Brock is who everybody says he is.
All right, I hope so too. Appreciate you coming on, CJ.
All right, man.
All right. Hold on, Dynamic Dave or Dynamite Dave. Michael Myers is not the best. Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger better than Michael Myers? That is blasphemy. I don't think that you can find any list of anything that has Freddy Krueger over Michael Myers. Like Michael Myers is far and away. I don't even think it's close. Mike is the best. I call him Mikey. All right. Mikey is the best. All right, here we go. We got another caller coming on. All right. My guy, Gammon. Gammon, good morning. How you doing?
Doing well, Croc. Doing well. Glad.
Yes, sir.
So some people are
hold on, Gammon. I'll pause your time real quick. Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger?
Michael Myers. I do have a spot for Freddy Krueger, but it is Michael. I mean, there was even a movie about it too, you know. So yeah, it's gotta be Michael Myers. I'm not actually gonna take up all 3 minutes. I was just gonna be quick with it. But one of the things that I think would be cool is if you and Peacock, like at the end, after all the preseason games are over, is you guys kind of go back over your notes about what you guys thought and about as far as all the players that the 49ers drafted. And then like kind of one by one, kind of go arrow up, arrow down, or if your opinions on them are kind of still the same. And also too, because it kind of feels like the Michigan Wolverine players, like they're in Croc's doghouse. I don't know why, but it just, because I really like the Moody pick. I really liked the Bell pick. I don't think that you were hating on the players or anything like that, but you just didn't. I don't know. You didn't really like the picks, but I no. So that's fair.
I didn't care for. So with Moody, I didn't care for the value of the pick. Right. With Bell, I just thought like I would have taken A.T. Perry around earlier than draft Bell where they did. But I did understand when I watched the film, I'm like, well, he's a great blocker and he has this physicality about him. Maybe Kyle really likes that, but I probably just wouldn't have drafted him.
Yeah, because they feel like they're, like when you talk about these draft picks or these players, like they're your children. But when you talk about players from like Michigan, and so that feels like they're your stepchildren. Like you love them, but a little bit less and from afar. So I'm just wondering, what do they have to do eventually for them to kind of get your favor? And then the other thing too, I was going to say was I think once the season starts kind of rolling around, you kind of have a thing with Underdog Fantasy where it's like Crocs Locks, where you kind of like talk about which players or things you think we should lock in, like either one from the 49ers game and then maybe one from like a different game that we're not really watching, but you're going like, yo, this here is like easy money. Because I do. I'm gonna start locking them in and using that. But that was pretty much it. But give those boys a blue and chance. Go Wolverines. I don't know what it was. Maybe they beat up on UCLA or USC, but
nah, you know what? I actually used to really like watching Michigan. I was a big like David Terrell fan, Marquise Walker. They had the A train out there, so I'm very familiar with them. I don't know, kicker in the third round. Like the numbers say it. They say only one kicker in the last 10 years has been given a second contract by the team that drafted them. And It's like most of these guys are going like undrafted and they're still pretty solid. So, you see Moody out there. I haven't seen anything special to where it's like, oh, you just have to have this guy. Like, what is he doing better than any other kicker or a guy that maybe is undrafted? Maybe we'll see it. But right now, what I'm seeing is somebody who sounds like is struggling to kick in swirly weather. He's missing the extra point. He's missed multiple field goals. Maybe he'll settle in. I just don't see like special to where it's like, oh, we got to draft this guy in the third round. But I could be wrong. We'll see.
Free Moody, free Bell. Go Niners.
All right. Shout out to my guy Gammon and my guy Jay Cruz says, Mikey Croc out here with first name basis with the boogeyman. First name basis, man. If I see Michael Myers, hey man, what's up, Mikey? You know what I'm saying? We got a secret handshake and everything. That's the homie, the big homie. All right, here we go. Coming up next. All right, we got Gregorius Greg. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I don't want to take too much of your time. I appreciate your show and all. But I got a couple things I want to ask you about. What's up with the defense? Why can't we stop the run? That's my question. Is that in both preseason games they get run on like it's not even we used to stop the run all the time, preseason, postseason, all the time, and now it looks like a faucet's open, right? We're just running. So
And they're like running straight at the 49ers too, and that's tough.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I've seen with the 49ers, and we'll see if it's different, because you don't have Eric Armstead in there. I know Hargraves has played, but not anything full time. You don't have Nick Bosa. You don't have even Javon Kinlaw, who might eventually be like a legit, even just 2 down guy that is helping versus the run. So hopefully what we're seeing, the kind of this leakage is more so about the guys that aren't there as opposed to the guys who are out there right now.
Okay, all right, because I think if we can't stop the run, it's going to be a really long season. Really long.
Definitely. That's 2017 vibes, and I don't think we're going back there.
All right, and the other thing I wanted to just tell people to keep in mind is Love in Green Bay. Trey could be on that same trajectory where he's got to sit behind, learn his craft for a couple years, sign a smaller contract for that next year, that 5th year, and then just play after that. So I haven't given up on Trey. I see. I think everybody sees his talent. He just might not be ready. He might need more practice, more seasoning. And so we got to at least give him that time to learn. I don't want to kick him off the team. I don't want to do any of that stuff. He's a good player. I think he's going to be amazing. And we'll see if our boy Purdy comes back down to earth. He is the Mr. Irrelevant, and there is a reason for it. So that's all I wanted to say. Like I said, I appreciate your show, and keep it up, man.
Oh, thanks, Gregorius Greg.
There you go.
I'm gonna get that right one time. Appreciate you coming on. All right, here we go. Next up, we got RM49. Good morning. How you doing, man?
Good morning, Croc. Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah.
So I had a question about Jair Brown. I think he led Penn State in tackles for loss last year. Do you think he has good enough feet and hips to play the nickel, or have you just not seen enough?
I don't know. Like, that's a tough ask. Like, nickel is probably, and everybody says cornerback is the hardest position to play, like, especially on defense. Nickel is even harder, like, more specifically, because guys have so much space, two-way goes. So typically you get guys that are a little bit more fleet-footed, oily hips, as the scouts like to say, and just a little bit more just burstier than what we've seen from him. So I think him playing out in space and being able to come from distance, make tackles, things like that, that'd be good. Now, maybe there could be like a big nickel where if you want to play him in if you want to play him more like okay, he could guard tight ends, man on tight ends. So we're just gonna have him, we're gonna play like three safeties. So essentially he's kind of like this weak side linebacker. Maybe he could do that, but but like, hey, I'm gonna challenge you to have to like guard slot receivers who are twitchy and really good in space. I wouldn't do that. I saw Cam Latu run off on him in one-on-ones. So
okay, appreciate it. Yeah, I was wondering about that. And then I have a Bay Area question for you. So no cop-outs, no E40, no Mac Dre. Who are your top 3 other than them?
Ooh, no E40, no Mac Dre. Probably Mr. Fab. Actually, really, and I don't know if he's like a great, but like LaRussell, I don't know if people really like, but LaRussell like holding it down for the Bay Area right now. Trying to think, Mr. Fab, I really like what LaRussell's doing, and I was like a big like Clyde Carson. Clyde Carson, he was with the team back in the day. I know a lot of people like Andre Nickatina, but I was never like big on him. Hustler, I'd slap some Hustler for sure.
Yeah, cutting up small time favorite.
Yeah, so now there's some dudes, but I know I'm pretty sure I'm leaving stuff off because you gotta put me on the spot. But
that's all good.
Mr. Fab he's probably like next in line for me.
Someone's got to hold your feet to the fire, you know. Coming back to Cali.
No, I'm back, man. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on.
All right, you have a good one. All right, here we go. We got Forever Faithful coming on now. Forever Faithful, good morning. How you doing?
Morning, brother. Morning, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
Neffy pop like ecstasy. You forgot Neffy, man.
Ah, see, that's crazy. Yeah, see, I mean, there's some in my head that I was really big on like I like Trax a Million as a producer.
Oh yeah. A Pilo, go hard.
Yeah, I was in Vegas the other day, and Pilo was out there performing on stage.
Yep, yep. God, that Bay Area got like underrated music, man. Way underrated.
Nah, for sure.
Uh, no, I just wanted to come on and touch on. Oh, and another thing, Freddie all day, bro. How can you not,
Over Michael Myers? You're tripping.
bro? Freddie came to you in your dreams, bro. Like you couldn't even sleep right. Like, come on, bro. Like,
Michael Myers, bro. You could. Somebody said Michael Myers don't run a 4.4, right? They were like, Michael Myers don't run a 4.4. You could just run away from him. But it don't matter how fast you ran, you couldn't get away from him.
yeah, but as soon as but how long can you go without sleep?
Yeah, that's true. That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying? You gotta shut your eyes. And he was coming every time. That's especially as like a little kid. Oh, what you can't. That's my only time I felt safe was when I was asleep. You can't do that to me.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You make a compelling argument.
You know what I mean? But no, I was the of course, you know, we all want to come on here and talk about Trey. Man, I loved it. I love how the crowd stood up for him and was cheering. And the next time Sam come out, I wish the crowd would just boo and then Trey come out and they scream. Like that would be dope. Like that way it'll make it easier for the ownership have to be like, nah, man, the fans.
We might have lost Forever Faithful.
I do.
Here we go. We got
You got me?
back. Yeah, I got you back.
Okay. But like the other caller said, I do feel like it's not over for Trey. Like we still got hope. Like I still think he could still play for us. I just think that, like Kyle said, man, you can't go away from what Brock did, and you can't take that away from him. So you got to let it happen because it happened organically. So you got to let that happen. You got to let Trey's situation come to him organically. And I think the way John and the way Kyle talk about Trey, I think they're willing to allow that to come organically, right? If Brock goes down, then of course I think they'll let Trey have the show. But I think it's all like bringing in Sam. I think John Lynch said our decisions will forever be changed by what happened last year with the quarterback situation. So I could see we're always going to have three quarterbacks, but how the quarterbacks push each other. I'm a big fan of Jim Harbaugh when he would say, you know, iron sharpens iron. So does another man sharpen another man. So I don't want to take all the time, but yeah, that was basically what I wanted to say was I think we still just wait it out and let it happen organically, and Trey will be good.
All right, we're going to see. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. And next and last caller, we got Shunda Boy coming on. Shunda Boy, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, Croc. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. Now, I'm only going to give you like 2 minutes because, unfortunately, my laptop is definitely about to die. It's on 4%, and I want to be able to end the show. So
I understand.
And tomorrow you come on, you'll be the first person I click in. We'll do it like that. So.
Okay. All right. So real quick, I think Luter is going to be our annual red shirt player who's going to get stashed because he has an injury. I wanted to explain to a couple people real quick kind of how it works. So the PUP list, if you start on the PUP list, you don't have to be on the 53 to actually make the team. You can continue on the PUP list as long as you start the off-season, the training camp on the PUP list. So somebody like Luter, they can actually carry him on the roster on PUP without having to have him on the 53 and decide a week later. With somebody like Ray, who goes on the PUP list during training camp, you have to do something where you cut like a veteran, a Willie Snead type, and then Ray makes the roster. The next day you put him on IR, and then you bring Willie Snead back, something like that. Maybe an Austin Bryant might be a candidate for something like that as well with his connection with Chris Kasarik. So Ray will probably make the initial 53. He'll go immediately on the IR. He won't be available to play until after 6 weeks. If it was PUP, it would be 4 weeks. Okay, so that's kind of the distinction of how that goes. So anyway, real quick to touch on the quarterbacks. I have a quick question for you. What does Trey do special on the field? What's one special thing he does?
Not sure there is one. At least consistent. Right? Because, I mean, I could say, like, man, I've seen some tight window throws. I think the way he can push the ball to the next level, like, those things are really good. But Is he
above
consistent?
average, but not special.
Yeah, and I think
But it's not special. It's there's 10 other guys you can list that can make that set. Like, it's not special. He's got really good arm strength, not special. His athleticism is like average. His processing and stuff like that is actually, at this point, it seems below average. So I'm trying to find that thing. It's been 3 years. And the thing that was alarming to me, everybody was talking about in training camp, how Purdy is this and Darnold is this and Trey Lance is that. If Trey Lance is really a legit starting quarterback, and I'm talking about high level. I'm not talking about guy number 30 who's going to be on some trash team. I'm talking about a legit high level starter, top 15, that 8 to 12 range, something like that. There's no way Brock Purdy should have still been playing neck to neck with him when he hasn't played for 8 months. Trey had the whole offseason and still couldn't separate from even Sam Darnold, who we know is not good. And can we please stop acting like Sam Darnold's good?
I think, okay, when we talk about, hold on, we're going to have to continue this conversation tomorrow. Come on.
Yeah.
This will be the first.
I got you.
All right, because I tried to get into more like the losers. Tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more.
I wanted to talk about the PUP and IR stuff so people understand how that works differently. So,
all right. I'm gonna get you on tomorrow.
Hey,
all right.
Pleasure to have you back, man. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe, everybody.
Yeah. Do what he said, man. And everybody else do that too, man. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like you said, hit the like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe this video.
You can find the full audio version of this on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff shortly after this. Tomorrow, same time, 8 a.m. Pacific. But until then, I'm out trying to end this before my laptop dies. Peace.